So where should one review a new rugged tool watch inspired by the outdoors of a Pennsylvania state forest? Where else but in a state park? I'm here in Hacklebarney State Park with the Rothrock from new microbrand Ardor Forge. Stay tuned for a full review on this episode of Adventures with Time. Hello again, and welcome to another episode of Adventures with Time. Something new for me on this episode, I'm reviewing the soon-to-be-launched Rothrock, a watch from a new microbrand called Ardor Forge. This watch was lent to me for review on this channel by Zach Rakovan, designer and founder of Ardor Forge, based in Tyrone, Pennsylvania. And in case you're wondering, I'm not getting any compensation for this review, and I'll be sending the watch back shortly, so you're getting my honest opinion here. I'll leave a link to the Ardor Forge website in the description so you can review their story. To get a taste of their passion for the outdoors, I encourage you to read The Ramble, which chronicles their 2+ year journey in building and launching a watch brand. Very educational for any watch lover. And hey, how can you not like a company that includes a dog as part of their team? Everything about this brand is inspired by the outdoors and a passion for design. The company name, Ardor Forge, means passion and creation. And their first project is the Rothrock Watch line, inspired by the natural beauty of the Rothrock State Forest in the middle of Pennsylvania. The Rothrock will be offered in 4 colorway options, each named after separate areas of the Rothrock State Forest, and will have optional oak accents on elements of the watch. More about those later. As I pointed out in a recent video, microbrands have the ability to try new and different design approaches. Ardor Forge have certainly done this. The Rothrock is a rugged field watch with truly an original design, quite different from the ubiquitous diver or field watch. So let's take a closer look at this watch. To paraphrase an old marketing slogan, this is not your father's watch with a polished finish. This is unrefined and rugged, like the outdoors from which it is inspired. The 2 features you will notice at first glance are the textured finish of the case and its angular elements. This finish is a proprietary sand-cast texture that conveys a feeling of toughness, of raw forged metal, and of the process of creation. You'll either like it or hate it. Let's go through the specifications. This is a 42mm wide watch case with a fairly large 50mm lug to lug and a reasonable 12mm thickness. The lug width is 22mm, so there will be plenty of available straps from which to choose. I measure the weight of this watch at just about 84 grams with no strap. Figure another 14 to 18 grams for a non-metallic strap, bringing the loaded weight in around 100 grams. All variants of the Rothrock have these same dimensions and are made from stainless steel with a sandcast textured process, but with different dial colorways, and some with different color finishes to the case. This model I have is called the Juniata, named for and inspired by the Little Juniata natural area of Rothrock. It comes with a fully loomed white dial in this raw case and with a leather-backed maroon canvas strap. All the models have an option for an additional Horween leather strap at $45. The watch loaned to me came on one of those leather straps, so I can't speak directly to the canvas straps. But then I'm not a big fan of canvas straps anyway. However, I did put one of my own canvas straps on this watch to try it out. I also put it on a brown leather NATO strap just to see what it looks like. Let's now take a look at that fully loomed dial. Instead of the hands, numerals, and indices being loomed, this dial has the opposite, making for great readability in low light situations. The Detweiler model is inspired by the Detweiler Run area. It has an olive green dial in a gold accented PVD case and comes with a khaki canvas strap. The Seagar is named for the Allen Seagar Natural Area. It has a blue dial in the same raw stainless steel case as this Juniata. It will come on a gray canvas strap. Finally, the Thickhead is named for the Thickhead area of Rothrock. It has a black dial in a black DLC case and comes on a black canvas strap. All four watches, regardless of style, have drilled main lug holes. They've also designed in a second, non-drilled lug hole towards the end of the lugs to accommodate thicker straps. This is something I haven't seen on any watch before. Sapphire crystals on both the front and display back, a screw-down crown with crown guards to support a 10 atmosphere water depth. All models use C3 Superluminova, with only the Juniata having that fully loomed dial. The others have loom on the hands, numerals, and hour indices. And all come with the Seiko NH35 movement. This watch will be offered through a Kickstarter project launching March 24th, 2020, just a week and a half from the publication of this video. Each named version will be limited to 125 pieces. Shipping is expected to start in August of 2020. Should you support this project through the initial Kickstarter campaign, your cost will be $300 plus $15 US shipping, or $25 outside of the US. But that's only for the first 50 pledges. After that, the price level will be at $350. And after the Kickstarter campaign closes, prices will go up to $550. $300 is just about in line with other NH35-based watches in my collection, although those don't have a sapphire case back like the Rothrock, but some do have a date complication. I don't consider the Kickstarter special pricing of $300 out of range if this watch is something you appreciate. Certainly, it is going to be high at the $550 post-Kickstarter level. Keeping with the outdoors inspiration, the Rothrock will come in a conservative packaging, not to be cheap, but to be ecological and conservation-minded. That's a nice touch, guys. Now let's zero in on some of the features of this watch, and I'll point out some of my personal likes and dislikes. First to the four color variants. I'm not a fan of the blue-dialed Seagar. To me, blue just doesn't invoke the feeling of the forest. The Detweiler orange-green dial is more appropriate for a field watch. However, I find it lacking just a bit in readability. To me, those hands can get lost against the dial. I think the Thickhead and Juniata are both very readable. I like the pairing of the black dial with the black DLC case on the Thickhead, and the contrast of the hands against the dial is pleasing to me. The Juniata seems to me to be the most readable, and I like the idea of a fully loomed dial. Speaking of the dial, it has a utilitarian design. Plain Arabic numerals in a simple font, nice hour indices, and a clean minute track. Straightforward, unobtrusive branding under the 12 and above the 6. The hour and minute hands are basic sword shape, helping with readability. And they have a bit of skeletonization at their base, a nice and interesting detail, especially when the loom is shining through. Finally, there's a long, thin orange second hand that extends all the way through to the minute track. Beyond the sandcast texture of the case, there are some other attributes that might be polarizing. The case certainly has some angular aspects to it. The fixed bezel has a scalloped-like shape. The lugs have sharp angles, as does the somewhat oversized crown guards. Before trying on the watch, I thought the downward angled bottoms of the crown guards would dig into my wrist. But after wearing it for several days, I can say that this isn't the case at all. In fact, this is a fairly comfortable watch on my 7 7/8 inch wrist. However, those crown guards do angle down below the crown itself, which does make turning the crown a bit awkward. I find myself trying to grab the crown with my fingertips to get a better grip, or using just one finger on the top of the crown. The other potential turnoff for some might be the oak accents. The watch's original design specification included wood accents on 3 elements of the watch to reflect the trees of the Rothrock State Forest. They are the dial rehaut, the tip of the crown, and on the rotor. Given early feedback, Zach decided to offer each of the 4 colorways with or without the wood accents. So you really have 8 variants from which to choose. What's my preference? Well, I'm definitely not a fan of the wood rotor, and I'm not really liking it on the crown either. I do think it looks nice on the rehaut, as it provides some additional color to the dial. But that's not an option. It's all 3 or none. Therefore, my selection would be the pass on the oak accents. There you have it, the first project from a new microbrand with a clear brand concept. They have taken their time in designing and planning to ensure they stay true to their concept. In a market where microbrands are a dime a dozen, I believe they've been able to break through the standard mold and create something that is distinctive. And for that, they should be applauded. Is this a watch you should buy? I don't think the price should be a factor. So it all comes down to your personal likes and preferences, and whether you like the design of the watch. No one else can or should influence your purchasing decision. So what's your opinion? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.